We should have like a do 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 or something. I don't know. Well, hello, and welcome to the third episode of That's One of My Favorites, the musical movie review podcast starring Samara. That's me.
And Emily. That's me.
And today we are talking about A Star is Born, the 1976 version, which we will get into a little bit more. But I want to go ahead and preface with a warning, a content warning. While we will not be explicit ourselves and we will not go into heavy detail, this is a very much more adult themed movie.
Yeah. It is rated R.
Yeah, it's rated R, which I did not know.
I didn't either.
Yeah. So we won't be like going into graphic detail or anything, but there is a few things mentioned that we're going to talk about a little bit. So just wanted to throw that out there, content warning. It's a hard left from last week or last episode.
Super hard left.
But no, this was a hard turn, because I'll tell you what, all week my daughter has been, and my husband at this point, like, it's stuck in our heads for Singing in the Rain, and now we just took a skirt and we're here.
I knew nothing going into this movie, and I wish I knew nothing still, if I'm being completely honest.
I didn't know anything about it either, other than that it had been remade in 2018. I didn't realize that this was the third remake. In the 1976, it's basically been made every 20 years since the 1937.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was an original one in 1937, and then again in the 50s with Judy Garland. And then this one with Kris Kristofferson and Barbra Streisand. Mm-hmm. And then again with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So
and I've seen any of them. So this was the first introduction to A Star is Born.
I hadn't seen anything, but this is the only one that I knew about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like whenever I knew about, like when they were like, oh, we're remaking A Star is Born, I was like, oh, the 1970s, like I didn't know about the other ones.
I knew about this one, the Judy Garland one, but I thought the Judy Garland one was the original, not already a remake.
Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
That there was already a remake in the 50s.
Yeah, and then another remake of a remake in the 70s.
Yeah.
And from what I read, they all have like similar vibes, similar screenplays, but they change, like, the 70s, this one is obviously a heavy disco 70 feel. And from what I read, the 50s is like very, Judy Garland-esque big show tune. But, and then I assume that 2018 is more like what we would normally hear. Because, I mean, I've heard Shallow, which is like one of the biggest songs that came out of that one. But that's all I know from that movie.
I would love to, on my own time, or maybe on our own time, like watch them all and then do like an in-depth, like,
this worked well, this was the best.
Yeah, this is what
I agree. There's been, I mean, I looked up other people's thoughts, and they were like, the one that we just watched was probably the lowest one on other people's totem pose, and I was like, I can see why.
It's the only one that I knew about, so that's crazy to hear.
Yeah.
So this movie stars Barbra Streisand and Kris Kristofferson. Mm-hmm. The quick synopsis is Kris Kristofferson plays John Norman, and he is a rock and roll superstar that is tanking his career. What was that? Because they can't see you on. She's air quoting rock and roll and superstar. And he meets Barbara Streisand, who is Esther Hoffman, and he meets her in a bar. She's doing her own songs, and he decides that she deserves a shot, and boy, does she take the shot, and it goes, and it pays off.
Mm-hmm.
And there is tons of stuff in the middle of that. So
let's get a little deeper into the plot, but that's the sum of it. And
that's
then
the summing, yeah.
It
opens. Go ahead.
Sorry. This was filmed in 1976, and the movie grossed $80 million at the box office.
Was it filmed or was it released in 76?
It was released in 76.
Okay.
Sorry. And it starred, like you said, Barbara Streisand, Chris Christopherson, and Gary Busey.
Which, okay, I'll tell you exactly who I thought it was for the whole time, and then now it makes no sense. I thought it was Matt from the British Bake Off with the alopecia. I thought it was him. But in my brain, I now know that, like, there's no way that it was him. But I was sitting there going, wow, you know, I can't hear his accent. Like, I was just, this movie takes it out of you, okay? It just takes
it. It does. I had to watch it in 2 parts.
Me too. Oh, it's almost a 3-hour-long movie also.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And it's very flat, in my opinion.
Very.
There isn't a lot of rising and falling, and even like the quote unquote rising and falling doesn't feel like enough. But
No.
maybe that's because of what we're
indicative that the 2 stars don't have any chemistry to me whatsoever.
Oh, see, that's the only good thing that I've read about this. I think it was
Really?
Roger Ebert that said that their chemistry is the only thing that saved this movie.
Yeah, I don't agree. I don't think there's enough chemistry. Like, I feel like it was very forced between them.
Oh, wow. Okay, because I have it in my own notes that I actually feel like this couple is in love. So that's interesting. What makes you?
Well, we'll dig in like deeper, but the ending.
Okay.
I mean, the ending. Okay. We'll get there.
Oh yeah, but
yeah.
No, we have. Okay, all right. So
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
It opens upon a restless crowd. They've been waiting for 2.5 hours for 2.5 hours. You don't know who we're waiting for at this point, but the crowd is going wild. I want to know where, and I typed it in, and I could not find out. I found the filming locations, but I couldn't find out what they were filming or how they got all those people there. Because I know in 2018, they filmed in between sets of Coachella. And also, I want to say Willie Nelson or somebody like that in between their sets at their festivals.
So on the IMDb trivia page, it says the rock concert footage was shot before a crowd at the Sun Devil Stadium in Arizona.
Right.
So that's where they used that crowd.
Right, but where did they get the crowd is what I guess, like, how did they get that many people? Because it would make sense if they were all there for something. Like, they were all there for Coachella in 2018.
It says the rock concert footage was shot the rock concert footage was shot before a crowd of 47,000 at Sun Devil Stadium in Arizona with Barbara Streisand and Chris Christopherson headlining.
Okay.
Acts such as Peter Frampton and Santana, booked by their promoter, and sold tickets at $3.50 each. So it was a concert for them. And
to fill seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, at this point, we've been waiting 2.5 hours for somebody. We don't know who is here.
They're throwing frisbees and lighting bottle rockets under seats. Okay.
Except for the bottle rockets, I've been to, like, I went to the Warped Tour, and frisbee throwing, that could be a thing. Beach ball bopping. So but the bottle rock, the child wandering,
just walking around,
set my social working heart on fire.
Huh?
But I also was that child by accident at a Doobie Brothers concert. So, like, I was like, I can't fault them, but also, anyway. So John Norman shows up, and he's chilling. He does not care that he's 2.5 hours late. Everybody's freaking out. The crowd is mad. He just shows up, rolls out. Of course, he's got a girl with him. Does some partaking of some hard drugs.
Which
and
every time he's with, at this point, Gary Busey's character, Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he forgets his lyrics. And it's just, you just see that this guy's career and life is like kind of falling apart at this point. Mm-hmm. I personally loved his voice and his songs.
I did not. I thought it was kind of weird, but I mean, his singing is a different type of singing, I guess. Like it's kind of grungy, like more grunge rock than it is like what you would normally hear like in the 70s, like the famous disco-y voice. So I wasn't expecting it, and I sure as heck wasn't expecting them to put on a whole bunch of weird masks during that.
The mask was super weird, but I kind of felt the vibe. I definitely grew up on like dad rock. My stepdad was super into rock and roll, and he's of that era. So maybe that's what it is I kind of grew, like, I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm here, I'm feeling this, you know.
I don't know if I was just expecting him to have like a phenomenal voice, which was not the case. Like, because I think of Barbra Streisand, who can sing just about anything, and then you have the polar opposite of her within Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, so he leaves and goes to this bar. He just leaves. He just like kind of shows up, plays like 2 songs, and then leaves. And he goes to this bar to go get more drunk than he already is. And there's Barbara singing with a group called the Oreos, by the way, because it's I'm assuming it's because it's 2 Black females and her as a white female. And I was like,
I didn't know that.
Stop. Yes. They introduced the Oreos, and it's literally the 2 Black females standing there, and then Barbara comes up in the middle like the creep. I was like, stop it. No. Oh my God.
I did not catch that.
I paused the movie. I literally paused it and took a breath because I was like, oh, okay.
I think I was too in shock over the masks, and I audibly laughed at the drummer in his shark mask, so I was still in shock over that. So
yes. And I have that when she starts singing, it doesn't sound to me like Babs. It doesn't. I didn't know she could sing like that, I guess. Which is my own fault, but
she really sounds like her like Babs when she belts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, I've seen so many Barbra Streisand movies that as soon as she was on the screen, I was like, okay, now I feel like the movie might get pretty good. And I feel like it did, because when she's singing, he comes in, he's obviously inebriated, and is talking during her set, and she's like, you're ruining my set. Like, stop talking.
Calls him on it.
Oh, immediately. And you're blowing my act. That's the line. And I mean, he tries to enjoy her singing because he obviously likes it. And then this dude who comes up out of nowhere is like, you should get up there and sing. Like, you're the star. Get up there and sing. He's like, shh, I'm trying to listen to her. But that annoyed the heck out of me, that whole scene.
Yeah, the guy is like, I pay your salary because I buy your concert tickets, so you better get up there and sing me a song. John Norman immediately just starts throwing fists. Mm-hmm. And the police are called. There's a huge brawl ensues. The police are called, and she grabs him and tells him, let's go sneak out the back. And then he shows them in her car, and she is like, oh wait, no, maybe I shouldn't get in the car. Like,
And I got major Princess Diary vibes when she was like, "Is this a hearse?"
Oh, yeah. Is this a car from a funeral?
Yeah. This is non-ride hearse.
Oh, I love that movie. Now I have to watch that.
If it
Okay,
were a
anyway.
hearse, it could ride in the back. Anyways, I digress. Like that whole scene played into my head when she was like, "Is this not like what we use for funerals?"
And yeah, and she just talks the whole time. And she even says, I talk when I'm nervous, because he's like, God, you talk a lot. That made me laugh, because I've had people say that to me. And
I'm most certainly raise my hand. That's me. I have to fill the silence, even though I know I'm like, Emily, please shut up. But no, yep, I feel you.
no, yeah, and he's just like, God, you talk a lot. God, you change the subject a lot. Like, do you ever just sit for 2 seconds? Like, you can tell he's just not. And she's just chatting away.
What cracked me up is when he's trying to explain to her how he liked her voice, and he says something about like a fish, and she's like, "What, like a fish? I sing like a fish?"
Oh yeah, he tells her that you sing like you. Have you ever been fishing? And you sing like a fish, or you sing like that. And she says, I sing like a fish. And he's like, no, you sing like, and this is a very like, again, he's on drugs. Like, he's like, it's a rush of when the line catches, it's a rush, and you're reeling it in and you're fighting it and you feel that rush, and it's just a big marlin. And I'm like, sir, nah, yes, but nah. Like, okay. So they get to her house, and she definitely knows who he is, because I was for a second thinking we were having another Singing in the Rain moment where like maybe she does or maybe she doesn't, but she definitely knows who he is, and he is following her up the house, like, he's like, I want to come in, and she's like,
well, actually, no, you don't.
No. And I was like, yes, ma'am, good for you.
Yeah. He's like, I'm coming in. She's like, I think again. Shuts the door and then opens it back up. We'll come back for breakfast. Shuts the door again.
Yeah, she's like, I'll make this huge spread. Which and he does. It's like 4:00 in the morning, and she says, be back at 7. And he's like, all right. He sleeps in his car. That made me giggle. I was like, oh, he's excited.
His poor driver, Mo.
Yeah, he sends Mo to get a pizza.
You think like go get donuts? No,
a pizza. But he knows that she's not actually going to cook him breakfast. He opens the door, or she opens the door, and he's like, I'm here for breakfast. She's like, I didn't cook anything. Like, I've never made biscuits before in my life. He's like, I know, that's why I brought the pizza. I was like, these people, see, that's like already, I'm like, you guys are kind of there. You're already clicking. I also just love how, like, she's just a beautiful woman in this movie. Like,
she is.
They don't talk about what she looks like. She's not just a comedic. She has a few funny lines, but so far, like, it's just he's just enamored by her voice and her beauty. Like, she's just, and he says, God, you have beautiful eyes. Like, oh my goodness.
And the lighting, like, throughout the movie that they put on her, she's like glowing.
She's lit from every angle that is correct.
Yeah.
Shout out to the tech team, because yup.
They made her look beautiful. Which she is beautiful, but like really she's like ethereal.
Right. And so as somebody who hasn't seen a bunch of Barbra Streisand movies like you, this is kind of what I have envisioned of her. Like, I have this lit, beautiful. I haven't seen a bunch of her performances. I haven't seen a bunch of her movies, but I have seen clips of this, which is crazy to me, because we're saying that it's not a good movie, and people on the internet are saying it's not a good movie, and yet I know this movie. I knew about this movie.
And it was popular in the 70s because obviously it made $80 million.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I don't feel like it aged well.
No.
Like, it has a bunch of big names on it, but it didn't age well at all. And I didn't know any of the songs. None of the songs.
No, and the one song, Evergreen, went on to win a Grammy
and an Oscar, I think.
and an Oscar. Yeah. So I take that back. I feel like, and maybe I'd love to know from the 2018 movie, did they reuse Watch Closely Now?
I don't know.
Because I had heard that song.
The only song from any A Star Is Born that I know is Shallow.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, I mean, I think I had heard that song. Anyway, back to the movie. So he tells her that he loves her songs. He asks her who writes them. She says, I do. He says, what are you working on? And she's super nervous to play a song for him.
Mm-hmm. She says she's not a guitar player.
Yeah. But she's like, I have this melody or have this beat. And so she starts, noodling and singing. And at first I was angry because he was laughing. But I think that was like inner monologue. Like he was just supposed to be really happy, but he was kind of chuckling. And I was like, I would be infuriated if I was her. I'd be like, why are you laughing at me?
Okay, like, don't laugh.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
But anyway,
she gets engulfed into what she's doing and doesn't even like comprehend that he's even still in the room with her until she's done.
Yeah.
What has he done?
He's asleep. he's passed out. So, and she's fine with it. Which again, I'm like, strange man. Yes, you're a rock star in my house sleeping. Get up.
Mm-hmm.
He takes her to the next show with him in a helicopter, which means it's far. It's far away. It's not next door.
Yeah, no. It gave me Live Aid vibes.
Yeah. So they go to the show. There's so many people. I was like, ugh, they're all touching him. I loved the contrast of the anti-drug t-shirts for security with, again, the drug use that is being he's just taking a snort and chugging,
liquor. Yeah.
Yeah. And I tried to Google if there was if that was a reference to the anti-drug t-shirts. I couldn't find anything. Of course, a Woodstock, like, that was its own rabbit hole. But I loved that contrast personally. I giggled. I was like, oh, look at those, oops.
I'd say they probably did it on purpose because it's like he's a heavy drug user, but yet the security's like, don't use drugs on the back of their t-shirts.
Yeah.
While he's taking drugs in several scenes. Yeah.
He starts singing to her the Watch Me Closely Now song. And I was like, I would be a little bit mad that he's singing to the side. Like, he's not engaging with the crowd.
Around. Like, back to the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah. But she's kind of laughing at it, hee or whatever. He starts trying to pull her on stage, and like then I love how fast all these crowds flip. Mm-hmm. Like every single scene, like they were mad at him, he comes on, they're like, whoa! Like instantly. They're not mad. I'd still be mad. I waited for 2 hours. And then now they're here and they're like, yeah, woohoo, what's he doing? Boo. I'm like, whoa.
He's not even engaging with us. Boo.
Yeah. So he tries to pull her on the stage. Everybody's mad. She's like, no, don't do that. That's weird, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
He grabs what I assume was a Hell's Angels dupe bike, and crashes off the stage. Like he's just going full.
That whole scene was like crazy to me because he comes off the stage because she won't go on the stage. This random man like pops a kiss like smack on his lips. I was like, sorry, man, I just really wanted to meet you. And then he's like, I like your bike. And he's like, oh, you can have it.
Take your bike.
What?
Yeah.
And then crashes it off the stage.
Did you see it? I rewound it and laughed. The one guy, he's crashed off the stage. Everybody's freaking out. And this one guy just straight up, like, belly flops off the stage. Like, he's not standing. He doesn't jump down.
Him.
He, like, whoo, after him. And I was like, you're hurt now. Like, everybody's hurt. Like,
yeah, I did notice that. And I was just like, because that's smart. Like, are you going to land on top of him? I don't understand this concept.
No. And so he gets thrown in an ambulance, and she's left by herself.
Like, she tries to chase after the ambulance, but nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah. I also love the note that only 17 people got hurt this time. Which means this has happened before.
Mm-hmm.
This has happened. Yeah. So
I wonder if the drugs and alcohol have something to do with this.
I don't know. I don't know. It cuts to his recovery. He's in a pool. And all of a sudden this radio jockey, BB Jesus,
Uh-huh.
is flying a helicopter in his yard because he needs to talk to him.
Yeah, I don't understand this concept. Like, this guy comes out of nowhere, and obviously they have some form of beef. But they don't say why, other than he's...
They said that he was talking trash. He was saying he was washed up. He was saying whatever. But my beef is you just flew a helicopter in my backyard. That's my beef.
Yelling at me over a loudspeaker.
Yeah, and you're like, I need an interview, man. I mean, would I have pulled my friend's pistol out and shot you? No. But I'd still be pissed.
Yeah.
He pulls out the guy's pistol. He shoots at him. And the guy's like, oh, man, he's crazy. Run out of here. Like, okay, sure. If that's what you want to say.
And then doesn't he call, like, the police or who is it that calls the police? Bobby? Gary?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, I need to report a sniper.
And they're like, a what? He's like, isn't that an unknown person shooting? Like, they just are covering for this man. Like,
who the police know is a nuisance wherever he goes.
But also, I was like, that's kind of smart to just be like, a sniper, somebody shooting. Like,
swiper, no swiping.
It cuts to Esther's side of this right now. And she's doing a cat food commercial with the Oreos.
Mm-hmm.
But she's having creative differences.
Yeah, she doesn't like it.
Yeah, she's not happy with it. It's not good.
It's not good. She's right.
Sure, it's cat food commercial. And at the same time, of course, that she's filming her cat she's recording her cat food can commercial. Jesus Lord. Baby Jesus is there, and John goes to try to apologize to Baby Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Jesus. And Baby Jesus is not having it. Like, he is just like, screw you, dude. You shot at me in a helicopter. I'm gonna call the police. And he's like, no, I brought you some Jack Daniels. I brought you some whiskey. Like, we should be square. Not square. Ends up fighting Baby Jesus again.
And throws the liquor through the window at him.
Yeah. And then he has a meet cute with Esther. He's like, oh, hey, I've been looking for you. And she's like, I called you. Like, she's mad at him because she's called. He is like, I didn't get your calls because my manager, what does he say?
He's like, it goes through my manager, and then my manager sends it to my publicist, and my publicist sends it to, and then I say I don't want to deal with it, so it goes back to my manager. So it's like a full circle.
And they change his number like every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. No.
If I was left behind at a concert where this crazy man drove a motorcycle off the stage, I would not be calling him back.
not only left behind in a concert, but they took a helicopter to get there. What state is she in? And even if she's still in California is long. Like, where is she? How did she get home?
It's the 70s, so like she have to like
hitchhiked
way back, like hitchhike.
Swear. He brings her to his mansion. And she roasts the crap out of the mansion. Like, she is just like, this is dumb.
Although I was very impressed that he could write Esther backwards.
I didn't know what he was doing until she was like, are you going to cross my T? And then I was like, what?
Yeah. I was like, what is he even writing? And then, like, I saw the E, and then she said that, and I was like, how did he do that? Is that in reverse? Like, did he do it I don't know.
He had to have. He had, I mean, maybe not. They're at his house, his mansion. And he kind of opens up to her a little bit. You're the only person who's going to keep me from killing myself. And she's like, why? And he's like, because they say they love me. They think that I love them. They think that, they know me. He's giving her this tour that just happens to lead to the bedroom.
Just so happens.
Just so happens. And she's like, yeah, how many girls' names do you have written on that wall? Like, how many times have you painted over that wall? And I was like, good for you. Yes, ma'am. Like, we do not. But they start writing a song together. And then and again, we're not getting explicit. But this was so weird and uncomfortable.
Yes. And escalated very quickly.
Oh my God, so fast. But he's touching her face in a way that I feel like is acceptable for if you are blind and you want to see somebody's face. But if Daniel started like just weirdly touching my face like that, I'd be like, get away from me. He's just weirdly touching her face. They start kissing. It is not a good first kiss. It was very awkward. It took a long time. The face touching, like, anyway, maybe I'm not romantic. I don't know. Because there's a few other things that I'm like,
I don't think it was romantic. The most romantic thing about that shot is the lighting that they had on Barbra Streisand, because she was like, again, glowing.
The way that he carries her made me feel like they were both so uncomfortable, or she was really uncomfortable, or like maybe she was deep in thought or something. But they go to the bedroom and things ensue. Again, and then there's like this weird scene in a tub, and she's putting makeup on him, and I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But anyway, so then that goes away. I guess more things ensue.
Yeah, I don't know why that was necessary, but yeah.
I don't know either. It was the weirdest. They didn't say anything of merit, because I was like, maybe we're gonna have another open heart, like, my fans think nope. She just put makeup on him and they're giggling. So then all of a sudden he's like making her do guitar drills. Like, all of a sudden he's like, do it again. You're doing it wrong. Do it wrong. And she's like, I was like, wow, okay, here we are. Cool.
Yeah. He's gonna make her a star.
Yeah, so they start making a song. And I don't think they sound good together.
No, like I said before, they're polar opposites. Like, Barbra Streisand has this strong, soulful voice that she can take from alto to, oh my goodness, how do you hit those notes within a matter of second, to Chris Christopherson's grungy rocker kind of voice, and then you put them together and you're like, no, please stop.
Yeah, no. So I was like, I don't think that they sound good together.
I agree.
It jump cuts again to a benefit that he is supposed to be doing. And he goes out there and he sings for like 2 seconds, and then he's like, you know what? Nah. I've got something better. And he
I have a treat for you.
I have a treat for you. We found this girl. And he drags her out. Listen to this is okay. I don't care who it is that you bring out. If I paid to see you, I'm going to be furious. I don't care that it's Barbra Streisand. I don't care that she sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And like everybody's mad and he's like, y'all shut up. Y'all don't even know good music. Y'all shut up. She sings and like wows the crowd and they're all of a sudden like, yeah, you're amazing. I'm so happy. I'm not happy, Emily. I'm angry. I don't care. I'm mad. I paid for Fall Out Boy. I don't want to see Fall Out Boy and up and coming artists that they bring out to play their whole song. I want to see the people. Like,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I thought that was strange that he was just like, I'm not going to sing any more songs. And they were okay with it. Like, they were completely fine with it. Loved it.
I was trying to think of a situation that I would be okay with it. And like, if they sang a couple songs and they were like, oh, hey, by the way, I found this girl. I want her to sing a song. She comes and sings a song. And then he's like, all right, cool. She sounds good. Look for her EP. Okay, bye. Like,
yeah. Well, the only thing I can think of is because it's a benefit. Like, maybe the people are there to support the benefit. And he's just like an added, person.
Well, they were mad. And I was mad too. And then they were not mad. And I was still mad. It was like, no.
No.
Also, to go back a little bit really quick, I laughed when they were doing the guitar. The way that she talks about the music and describes the music is exactly the way that every musician that I know talks about it. My mom, my friends that play in the band with us, literally, like, they're like, oh no, you're not doing it right. It's ta ti ta ti ta ti ba. And you're like, okay, but then the other person who plays the instrument is like, oh yeah, and they do it. And so I was like, that's real. I like that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking for it and I couldn't find it. And then I was like, oh wait, there it is.
Yeah. Well, during that same time, that's when they are recording Evergreen, right?
Yeah.
Like, not long after that, and they're recording it together, and they don't really sound that great.
No.
That's actually the fun fact that I found on that. It was filmed live. Like, she wasn't lip singing.
Oh.
And, it was in one take because she is like uber like perfectionist about the way she sounds. And she said there's going to be a close-up of me and they're going to know I'm lip singing if I don't actually sing it.
That's true.
So she's actually singing it, and so is Chris Christopherson. But they had to really coax him into being like, you're going to sing this live, and then if you sound like crap, we'll dub you. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it's Barbra Streisand, and I just wish that the acting was a little bit better here, because he pulls her out to an angry crowd and she just sings and she just kills it. And she just like, there's not a missed note. There's not a voice crack. It's just perfection.
Yeah.
But then also, where did her background singers come from? Like, surprise, the Oreos are here. I was like, wait, where'd they come from?
Yeah, well, she looks over at Johnny. So obviously he somehow, from his drunken stupor that night, remembered that she was already semi in a band.
That's true, yeah.
So he was like, hey, I'm going to surprise her and make her sing at this benefit. I want you guys to be here with her because maybe she'll do it if you're on stage with her. Which I thought was kind of cute. But then again, but they don't come to see her. But now they're like, we don't want to.
We only want to see her.
We only want to see her. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. And so she comes off the stage and she's swarmed by people. She can't find Johnny.
Mm-mm.
And then literally I have, my notes are, everyone wants to meet her. She can't find him. I got up to pee and came back and they were fighting. What happened? Like, Like, I literally was like, I was gone 3 seconds, guys. Like, come on.
Somebody's like, or what are you going to change your name to? And she's like, what? Change my name? Then I got to change my passport, my social security? No.
Well,
it's going to be the same.
It's baby Jesus again. Baby Jesus comes and he's like, yeah, lose the creep. And then he, of course, throws another punch because all he does is punch people.
That's his go-to. Like, oh, I'm mad at you. Put him up.
Yeah. So they drive off in the car, and she tells them, like, she's upset, but she also is like, I want you. I want to be with you. And he's like, no, you don't. And he stops the car in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't want to be with me. And like, people are like, beep, beep. And he's like, we're talking. Leave us alone. You're in the middle of the street.
Because he's crazy. He's crazy.
He is certifiably cuckooed. Yeah, so they end up getting married.
And the baby's breath in her hair is adorable.
Oh, okay.
You don't like it? I think it's weird, but it's adorable.
It's just put in. It is literally what my toddler does outside when she goes outside with flowers. She just sticks them in her hair.
I thought it looked kind of cute because okay. You can throw. What else you gonna do to it? Let's stick some flowers.
I guess that's true, but
it doesn't look like she just placed like gobs of baby's breath. Like, it's pretty.
Emily, put the picture up right now and let them vote, because yes, it does. Oh my God. Anyway,
I thought it was cute you've got a fro. What are you gonna do? Let's put some flowers in it.
Okay. They get married, and her dress. I have dug the research. I know the pattern of the dress. I know who. Holy crap! This dress, when they go to the ranch, they are driving to this plot of land.
That deep V that she's. Yeah.
Oh my God!
I had a feeling you were gonna bring that outfit up.
Oh my God. Everybody brings that outfit up. It is beautiful. She designed it herself. Babs designed it herself. Most of her wardrobe from this movie was her wardrobe.
Esther Hoffman Howard's clothing was straight out of Barbra Streisand's own closet. The actual credits read, Miss Streisand's clothes from ... her closet. Because everything she wears in the movie is from her closet. Like, you're holding that deep V ensemble that looks like a rocker version of Little House on the Prairie vibe.
Oh, it's so
but
beautiful.
Like a good way.
Yes.
Like white flowy outfit. I love it too, and then it's ruined by mud.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, beautiful dress. They drive to this plot of land that is where they're going to be at their honeymoon. But also just like their little getaway house. There's no phone.
Which, by the way, I don't understand the time sequence, because all of a sudden there's no house, and then all of a sudden there's like a tiny house. I'm like, is this where they're staying? Or are they still building a house?
No, that's their house. That's what they're building. That's their little getaway. My issue with the timing was they were still getting wedding presents in their house.
It's like, boom, house.
Yeah.
Like, you get a little montage of them playing around, and then all of a sudden, house.
Right. And like, I don't know about you, but I didn't get wedding presents for months. I got wedding presents maybe like, I don't even think I got any after the wedding. I got all the wedding presents before the wedding and after and at the wedding.
At the wedding. Yeah, we would get presents in the mail from people ordering like stuff online and sending it straight to us, and then we brought some home for the wedding.
So who is still sending wedding presents? Their house is built. Yeah. And not only is their house built, it's like a mud hut. So like the mud had been mudded. The mud had been made and then dry. The timing continuity question. Anyway.
Yeah, well, for like a whole scene, I'm sitting here like, is that their house? That's their house.
That's their house.
That's their house. So confused.
Okay. So she is going on tour.
Mm-hmm.
She wants him to go on tour with her. He says no. They have like a little mini spat. He gets on this bike and then rides it around like a throwing a tantrum on a motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
and then wrecks it on purpose.
But she seems to do a lot if he doesn't get his way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's gross.
Like
and
a toddler.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. And I don't want to keep saying that.
The crap out of you on this bike and fake dead.
Yes. And so she's mad at him. She's upset. And then at this point, she says, "If you die, I'll kill you." And he says, "I'm not going to die." He's totally going to die. I 100%, I typed that. I was like, he's dead. I don't know how. He's gone.
Yeah.
That was the moment.
Like earlier in the film.
Yeah. That was the moment that I was like, oh no, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, yeah, like he sucks. And you think like, oh, he's, an alcoholic who's also taking drugs, who's also driving motorcycles. Surely he's going to die. But like that moment, I was like, he's gone.
Yeah.
Bye.
I thought the same thing. I was like, this man's too reckless. Like, there's no way he's going to survive to the end. But honestly, I was thinking, no, they wouldn't do that to us. They wouldn't put her through all. To be continued. Continued. I'm sure Samara is laughing at my face because I was just like, that was are you serious?
So he finally he agrees to go on tour with her, but then his PR guy says, "Yo, your name is garbage. You, like, for her sake, do not attach yourself to this.
Yeah, you're gonna bring her down."
Right. And you get the sense like you get the sense that he's clean. He's been clean. Like I feel like he hasn't.
She brings it up a few times where it's like he's better with me. Like he stopped doing drugs when he's with me. He still drinks, but he doesn't drink as much when he's with me.
Yeah. So at this point you feel like he's been clean. And or cleaner, I guess I should say. I don't know.
You don't think he's really doing drugs, just drinking alcohol.
Yeah, you just kind of see him maybe having a drink or two, but they're having a great time. This is where I put they seem like they're actually in love. Like I kind of like this couple.
There's bits and pieces where I can see like the kind of good acting, but at the same time, like I know that they didn't really get along like during the film. Because there's a quote from Christopherson saying, "Filming with Barbra Streisand is an experience in which have cured me from the movies. Like, I don't want to be an actor anymore." Because he's a singer-songwriter by trade, and then just did this movie, but Barbra Streisand didn't even want him to play the lead.
No,
she wanted Elvis,
Neil Diamond, Elvis, and Marlon Brando were the top three. Elvis, his PR people said, no, we don't want him associated with a tanking superstar. Even though he wasn't tanking at the time, like he wasn't even close to tanking actually.
Yeah, he was at his height.
Yeah, one of it. He was still like selling out tours, but yeah, they said we don't want him associated with that. So then she wanted to do Neil Diamond because they went to school together. But Neil had,
He was touring.
Yeah, he was touring, so he wasn't able to do it. And then I don't know what happened with Marlon Brando 100%, other than I don't know that he can sing.
I'd have to know exactly who that. I do know that they also considered Mick Jagger.
Ooh, that would have been interesting.
There was like a list, like a few people. I was like, how many people did they try to get for this show, and how bad does Chris Christopherson feel that he was like, I don't know, like sixth choice?
Yeah. And not only that, but apparently he's been accused of modeling his character off of Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I didn't. Just say yeah. Yeah, I did. I modeled it. Like, that's my homie. Call it a day. But I don't know. So there's a lot of people that they wanted, and he was not the top choice.
Yeah. Oh. Marlon
What?
Brando, as in like the Godfather. Marlon.
Yeah, as in like the Godfather, ma'am. He doesn't go on tour with her. There's time passing monologue of the tour. I still feel like they're in love just because of how they're acting when they're together. He goes to the studio to see his band, and she wants him to. She's trying to encourage him. He's doing this new music. And so she's like, go to the studio, talk to the guys, see if they're interested in this. And his band is like doing their own thing. They're kind of going with the times, whereas he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, he walks in, stands next to Bobby, and Bobby just hands him a bump of Coke.
I literally have written down he's the most enabler friend I have ever seen.
It's not even discussed. It's not do you want? It's not I'm taking one, you should take one. It's literally he just scoops it and hands it. And the thing that sucks is John just goes like he just takes it.
And I wonder, like, even though he's been clean for so long, it's just like second nature to him at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not in any
even
way
think about, no, I don't want that, I'm trying to be clean situation.
Oh yeah.
More of a like second nature, like muscle memory.
Yeah.
Start this, yeah.
And I in no way, like, I've worked with people who are addicts. I worked with teenagers who are addicts. It's a disease. Like, I'm not blaming him. I'm not blaming anybody.
No, the person I'm blaming is his friend.
It's his friend, honestly.
I'm like, stop. You're the problem.
But he's in the studio and he realizes that he doesn't fit in. So he tells his friend, he tells Bobby, that he's going to do his own tour. Even though that's not what he went in to talk about.
Mm-hmm. I think he switched his tune because he was like, oh, they're releasing an album and I'm not even on it. Like, so I'm just going to like backtrack and hide my wounds and be like, oh, well, I'm doing my own thing too.
Yeah. Yeah. So she gets a Grammy or an Oscar. It's Grammys for music, right?
Yeah, it's a Grammy, yeah.
So before, and the other two, they were winning Academy Awards, they were winning Oscars, and so it was for movies. This is the first one that's about music.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Sonny and Cher dupe for the Grammys. They came up, they were like, this is Bobby and Oprah, or whatever they called her. And I was like, oh, do you mean Sonny and Cher? Do you mean, because you didn't try. Like, you might as well have just said Sonny and Cher.
I thought the exact same thing. I was like, that's not their names. That's definitely Sonny and Cher. I got you, babe. Like, I see you.
Yeah, and so he's supposed to be at the Grammys with her. He's not there. She's starting to get upset. She's starting to get nervous. She's saying maybe he's dead. Like, maybe he's on the...
trying to leave.
Yeah, she's trying to leave. She wins an award. As she's in the middle of making her award speech, he busts in. He's out of his gourd. Mm-hmm. And just completely jacks her moment. And I feel really bad for her because I'm like, she can't even enjoy this moment because of what he's doing.
Right.
And not only that, but like, it's not even just that he's embarrassing her because he's drunk and he's being loud, but he gets on stage.
Yeah, I was cringing that entire time. Like, if you could probably replay, like if the TV could show my face, I was probably like,
I was so upset.
Is this happening right now?
Because he's like, you guys are giving her the award for the best. Well, where's the worst? Because I'm the worst and I want my award.
I had major secondhand embarrassment.
I just felt so bad for her because that's like, you think about what is the top achievement. If you're a musician, what is the top achievement? A Grammy. If you're, and he just took that. Oh, I was so filled with rage.
Yeah.
I was so upset for her. And then he gets into another fight. He gets into another fight because they're shoving, because they're all there because he embarrassed her. All the
they're trying to usher him out
paparazzi.
because he's making a disturbance.
Yeah, they're trying to usher him out. The paparazzi's trying to follow because he's being a disturbance. Also, because she just won a Grammy, but mostly because he's being a disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
And then he punches Baby Jesus. I'm like, Baby Jesus, you gotta go, honey. Like, how many times?
He aggs it on every single time. If he's in the frame, you know
sure.
he's gonna get punched.
Yes.
And at one point, he really does punch him.
Oh, well, I'm sure he did.
And broke his nose.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
I guess if you don't use a stunt guy.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh. That would suck.
That was a fun fact. I was like, oh, got a little too real. But and Esther's like telling the camera crews, like, don't you ever have enough? Like, do you ever just like back off? Like,
I feel so bad for her when she asks him, am I not good enough for you? Like, am I not good enough? What's wrong with me? I was like, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with you.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, please don't say that. Like, and she does everything to like make him feel wanted, loved, and then he just goes back into this circle of like alcoholism, drugs.
Which that's what it is. I mean,
it's a vicious cycle.
So sad. It's so upsetting.
It's a huge vicious cycle, and it was heart-wrenching because
So they're not together except for on weekends at this point because she's touring. She's trying to get his songs made. That's what sucks too, is this whole time she's trying to like, maybe if I get him more songs, maybe if I get him, something to do. And so she talks to her manager, who was also his manager, or the label owner. I'm not exactly sure who the guy is.
I kept calling him like manager person.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she talks to him. She's like, they're good songs. And the guy's like, look, I'll make your songs. And he says, no, I want to start my own label. Like, I'll do it. I'm good. No, thank you. So he goes to drop her off at this TV event. He comes home. There's a shirtless woman who has snuck into his house.
The rage. Flame. On the
Flames.
Like, in all caps, I said, no.
So she sneaks into his house. She says she wants an interview. And he's like, no. And at this point, I didn't feel like he was flirting with her. But he also like wasn't like, get out of my house. Like, he was just way too chill and relaxed. And
as soon as he let her in the house with him, I knew exactly what was going to happen.
And see, part of me wants to know, like, you hear all about the 70s free love, and the 70s were a different time. And like, especially if you were a rock star, like, is he just so desensitized, or was he ready to go?
I don't know if he was desensitized as much as he was trying to feel something. That's why, or he wanted to feel important, even though she bends over backwards to try to make sure he does feel important, but it's still not enough for him.
He's the most important thing in her world, even though, Yeah. So she says, I'll do anything for this interview.
Mm-hmm.
You can even ask your friend. And he says, no. And then she's like, I'll do anything, like, anything. So she
probably doesn't want to interview him. She wants to interview
Esther. I thought she wanted to interview him. That's the only thing that made sense in my brain. She was propositioning him for an interview for him. No, she was propositioning him for an interview with his wife.
Yeah.
In what world?
In what universe? But I call her creepy pool girl.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Esther comes home and this was so heartbreaking. She's so excited he's home.
Mm-hmm.
She's so excited.
Running through the door, immediately saying his name.
Yes, and she's John Norman, where are you? Catches them mid-copulation.
Uh-huh.
And this part, oh my God. So she's standing there and he's like, oh yeah, she wants an interview. She starts pulling out the tape recorder.
Yeah, she has the audacity while in a bed with her husband to ask her for the interview.
And then she's like, why isn't she talking to me? I did my part. Ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
What do you mean, why isn't she talking to you? She just caught you.
Again, flames on the side of my face.
In bed. Yeah, rage.
If anybody that doesn't catch that reference, go watch it.
Please go watch Clue. It's amazing.
That's all I've got to say. Go watch Clue.
She... God, I'm mad talking about it.
I know.
Esther goes on a rampage, starts tearing up the house, as she should.
Yeah, I'm like, leave him. Like, final straw, done.
Yep.
Leave him. Yeah.
She throws a vase at the wall that has her name on it. I wanted her to take a sledgehammer to it. Like, I was like, there needs to be a random, I don't care that it would be random. Get the random sledgehammer that would be just happen to be sitting there and hit it at the wall, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
And he tries to be like, I told you, it's no good. I'm no good. It's no good with me. And she's like, it was good, you idiot. It was so good. And it was.
Stop pushing her away.
Yeah. And then she's like, why don't you fight for me? Fight for me, daggone it. And he's like, I love you. And then she's like, I hate you. And then they go back and forth and he does the weird face touchy thing again. And I guess he's putting the pulses in her brain because then all of a sudden they're making out. And I'm like, first of all, I don't even think Quinn's Uber's here yet. Like, you just caught this bedroom. You just caught this man in bed with this woman, and you're like, it's all good.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She's still upstairs getting her tape recorder done. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So angry.
I was speechless at this point, and I think at this point in the movie, or not long after, Nick came downstairs from where I was watching this, and I looked at him and I was like, I hate this movie. This movie makes me so angry. I hate this. Yeah.
Me too. So then they decide, after they are in love again or whatever, they go back to their house that they built in 3 days.
Yeah.
And they're going to go and again, like, you know, I'm at this point, I'm already suspicious he's going to die. And then she's like, oh, you need to go pick up Bobby or whatever, Brian from the airport. Yeah. And I was like, that's it. He's gone.
Well,
he's gone.
As she's like, you're gonna, like, she's still trying to get him to go on tour with her. And as soon as he agrees, even though he knows it's a bad idea, I was like, something's wrong. As soon as he opens that beer can and gets into his car, I was like, something's gonna happen. He's not gonna make it through the end of this movie. It's not gonna happen.
Nope. So he goes to pick up his manager guy. He is going so fast in his sports car.
Yeah.
You find out, I mean, he's driving. It's this whole montage, and every 5 seconds, I'm like, he's gone. It's gone. He keeps looking in the mirror. I almost wonder if this was he did it on purpose.
Well, that's one of the things that I was reading. The director, there's 2 different cuts. There was one where you see it happen, and you see him purposely wreck, as if it was a suicide. But they chose to do the more, like, vague one to where either he could have done it on purpose or he wrecked because he was being reckless and dangerous and drinking and driving and speeding. So it's kind of like left up, like, did he commit suicide or was he just being reckless again and this time he didn't make it out alive?
I feel like he did because he kept looking back in the mirror. Like, and yes, he was going, you find out he was going 160 miles per hour, which I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
But also, there's nothing. It's flat desert.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think he did because he kept looking back in the mirror and I was like, I kept waiting for, and this just tells you that I watched too many scary movies or something, because I kept waiting for him to, like, look in the mirror, look at, like, all of a sudden the truck out of nowhere.
I did too.
he just wrecks, single fatality wreck. He's going 160 miles per hour and he's gone.
Yeah.
And she is distraught, devastated.
This is the point at the beginning when I was talking about I didn't like her reaction. Yes, I realized that she's in shock,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't, like, the acting during this part, I didn't believe it. Like, she's acting as if she's not really dead, like, get him a blanket. I understand that could be indicative of, like, somebody in shock, but I didn't believe it. Like, your love of your life just died in a car accident after you said that you were going to go with him and he told you no, stay.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the reaction that I was wanting out of it.
No, I don't know that it was the reaction that I was wanting either, but I do think that I don't not believe it.
Yeah. Well,
I
she
definitely
went through, like, every stage of grief.
Oh yeah, she definitely did. And you definitely felt like, I felt really bad for her. I felt
I did
really
too. At the same time, I was like,
so bad for her.
I want her to almost, like, really burst out into emotions, but
Yeah.
she's almost acting like as if they're going to take him to the hospital and he's going to be fine. That's the vibe that I got. Yeah,
I agree. So they whisk him off, and then you see her now at tour, and that's where all the emotion comes to. She just lays it out on the floor. She is singing her love song. She's singing his songs.
Which I didn't realize until, like, the very end of that. I was like, this doesn't sound like her. I was like, oh, because it's not. It's the exact same song that he was singing at the opening of the movie.
Yep.
I get it now. Okay, that's why I got completely lost in that song.
Yeah, I mean, she's singing his song, and she's just every emotion. I kind of got a little, like, teary-eyed. Like, I was like, she's laying it on the floor. Like, I don't know who she was channeling, but, like, yes.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. The end.
And it happens, I know that we, like, sum up, but, like, it happens that fast in the sense that, like, oh, he's Rex, he's cheating, they're happy, he drives off, he's dead. I mean, it happens within 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
So, and that's the end of the movie.
Again, and when he killed himself, I'm pretty sure I also looked at Nick and was like, I hate this movie.
The
pain he just put her through infuriated me.
I don't understand why this movie got remade 4 times. It's not a happy movie, and from what the Wikipedia pages have been, none of them are happy movies.
No.
Why is this movie being remade?
And why does this movie constitute itself as a musical?
Oh yeah, no. I was actually really mad because I don't necessarily classify this movie as a musical.
I don't either.
No.
And I Googled it, and it says it's a form of musical because there are songs, but they all live within the movie. Like, it's real life. She's on tour, they're recording, they're singing it that way. But to me, a musical is like dance, and the song progresses the dialogue.
That's what I was going to say. The song progresses the story, the plot.
Yeah.
Whereas that
didn't happen here.
No, this was a great movie. A great movie. This was a movie about the music industry.
Yeah.
And about musicians.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, if you took out the songs, which I think that I didn't need to listen to the songs. I didn't need to listen to the songs every single time.
The songs to be that great.
But if you took the songs out, it would still be a movie about the music industry that you could follow, that you could easily follow and understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that this was a musical. I'm a little bit upset because I was under the impression, again, as an ignorant, not musical movie connoisseur or whatever, I thought this was a musical.
Well, I did too, and I'm definitely like a movie musical connoisseur. I'm pretty sure it's listed as a musical, like drama, romance, musical.
No. In
No.
my opinion, this is not even a jukebox musical. This is just a movie about a music industry.
Yeah.
My feel-good rating. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that my feel-good rating is like at a 3, a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I was thinking 2.5, 3. Yeah, I was in the same boat.
Yeah, and then my overall rating, I would say, would probably be a 4, because I think I think it is I'm going to use the term good. This is a good musical or a good movie about the music industry.
I think the plot is there.
Yes.
I just don't think it was really like reached to its potential.
There's bones.
Yeah,
Yes.
like it's got the structure.
Yes.
I can see why in the 70s it could be popular.
Yes.
But to today's standards, I mean, I still give it like a 3. Like,
yeah.
And when I went back, and I try not to look at the ratings or anything when we pop these up.
Oh yeah, no.
And saw that this was like 30 something on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, that tracks.
That tracks 1,000%.
And I looked at the ratings for the 2018 version with Lady Gaga. It's like, I want to say like in the 80s.
Okay. Again, I'm going to do this on my own time, maybe.
Oh, no, I'll probably at least watch I might not watch the original, because I don't know if I can find that one, but I know where to watch the 50s with Judy Garland and the 2018 remake. I know where to find those, so I'll most certainly watch those.
Yeah, because my thing is like, I understand that not all movies need to be happy, but like in my brain, all movies need to be happy.
Right.
Or they need to be fun, or they need to be camp, or they need to be like, you know, I'm not gonna watch The Pianist and be like, I want to feel good after. Like, I watched The Pianist to get emotionally wrecked.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch this movie and be wrecked. Like, you know.
Yeah, and I mean there's not really like, there's a few blips of like funniness and then a few blips of, oh, they're really in love, but the majority of the time you're angry, you're sad, you're really sad, or you're annoyed.
But does that mean that it was a good movie because it emoted that much? Like, I was pissed. I was mad. I was angry.
It had good parts, like we said, it has the bones. It just it wasn't executed greatly.
No.
So.
My favorite frock was obviously the dress from when they arrived at the ranch. It's so good.
Yeah, I did really like that one.
I gasped.
When she got out, like when she was standing on the Jeep and you got like the whole like view of it, I would agree that was one of my favorites.
Yep.
Another one of my favorites was when she was like putting on that like white wispy thing. She's like, what do you think? And he said, well, the lights will wash you out.
Yeah.
She's like, no, but what do you think? I thought that one was cute. And for some reason, I really liked her outfit when she went to their first concert with that like little white beanie. Mm-hmm. I thought that was adorable.
Very cute. Very cute. I loved it. Oh my gosh. What are we watching? Please, God, let it be. What are we watching?
What are we watching? Okay, hold on.
Evita! I love Evita.
I have only seen bits and pieces of
great.
Evita, so I have not seen the entire thing, but I do know several songs.
It is polarizing, I will say. It is very polarizing. This We'll talk about
Is
it.
this the one
I'm
with
so
Madonna?
excited. Yes.
Okay.
And Antonio Banderas.
Oh.
Anyway.
I didn't realize he was in that. That's cool.
I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Okay, great.
Thanks, guys, for watching episode 3. We hope you enjoyed it, even if the movie was meh. But, I'm not going to call it a musical. It's a movie. If you have any suggestions, thoughts, vote, tell me what you think about the baby's breath in her hair. Feel free to send us an email at oneofmyfaves@gmail.com. I want to know. And continue to listen to us. You can find us on Spotify or YouTube at That's One of My Favorites podcast. We so enjoy the continued love from our friends and families. And yeah, so join us next time where we're going to watch Evita.
Evita. I have to really quick make I made it oopsie. Claire Bow made it into talkies. I completely don't know who I was thinking of. I think I was thinking of her. She had a really bad Brooklyn accent and they were worried about it, but she made it. So that was my fault. Oops. Didn't mean to disrespect Claire Bow. Okay. Ready?
We did that at the exact same time.
Anyway. Welcome back. No, you weren't here. Okay, try again.
And action.